Now, any answer on transportation. Okay, now I'm giving you the perspective of how to develop the answer in a proper way. Any answer on transport, okay, means whatever, you should have facts in place. And that is what I was doing right now. Give you some facts, name of the projects, when it was launched, okay, know about something about the length of the roads, maybe investments if you can. So know about the facts. Number two, you talk about significance, importance. In significance, try to use geographical concepts. Okay, don't just say they're important for industries. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll say roads are, or for example, any transport is a very important component of regional planning. So we're talking about, okay, vertical integration. It helps link the sectors. There's a component of horizontal integration. It helps link the locations. There is space and time continuum because it keeps the system dynamic. Okay. What does the road do? Because of the economy it generates, it makes the economic development also economically viable. If I can develop the complementarity of the options, they also become eco-friendly. Okay, if I can use water transport over long haul, like if I can develop the coastal shipping rather than developing roads and cutting down trees, there's an element of eco-friendly development also. Okay, absolutely. Involving the local people, developing the economy is part of the community-based development also. That's how you get geography, Okay, rather than just writing about roads are important. Okay, now I've used very specific language to talk about how roads are important part of achieving the principles under regional planning. So that's one way of talking about significance. And just now you talked about significance is that it does help grassroots development. Okay. This is linked to the community. This is linked to vertical integration, grassroots development. And the example of this is rural roads. Example of this is the Udan scheme. Example of this is developing the waterways. If you can develop the waterways across Northeast and develop, okay, the special accelerated road development project for the Northeast. Like if you can develop, okay, the freight corridors and the industrial corridors, it does help grassroots development. So talk in that context. Okay, so that's another significance. The third significance you can talk about is the graph I just now discussed. Talk in the context of complementarity, okay, of the transport. Okay, so how longer distance waterways are better. Okay, short distances maybe road is better. Railways are better for, okay, maybe the middle level. Something on those lines. Talk about complementarity. Then another important significance, just now you mentioned, was the backward area development. And very specifically, I'm talking about the hill regions, talking about the plateau and the dry regions. Okay, so backward area development linked to grassroots, backward area development linked to vertical integration, backward area development links to development of communities. I'm trying to put the advantages in terms of certain geographical terms. Okay, so backward area development. And how all this happens is that transport networks helps development of growth centers, those transport hubs, the transport hubs. We're talking about multimodal transport centers, example of which is we're trying to develop Varanasi as a part of Jal Vikas Marg. We are trying to develop Dhubri. We are trying to develop Prayagraj. We are trying to develop, okay, Jorhat. So these, with the development of the transports, okay, Khaskar under waterways, these can develop into important growth centers. And the moment we have growth centers, these again become a part of the grassroots development. They again become a part of the vertical linkages. And these growth centers essentially are nothing but the new urban centers. What does transportation do is planned transportation development also helps check urban sprawl. Sprawl is a haphazard growth. Sprawl is a part of a spontaneous and mismanaged growth, yes. But if you have got planned transport development, if the corridors are properly developed, the urban sprawl can be checked. We can have very planned conurbations. The planned conurbations is what probably our dedicated freight corridors can become. The planned conurbations, okay, can also be our industrial corridors. So planned conurbations, this is part of industrial development. It's part of better economies of scale. Okay, what is the significance of transportation? I'm trying to develop as a part of, okay, some kind of geographical term-based discussion. Okay, so planned development. Now, another point of significance is that transportation helps in development of functional linkages and interdependence of regions. This is what is the horizontal unity. Okay. So functional linkages and interdependence of regions that ensures that we can have horizontal unity in our regional planning. Okay, so it helps in that. And you can also talk about how transportation is also important strategically. I'm talking about security. I'm talking about border area development. Okay, and finally, see if you can fit in some of the points under the agriculture octagon. This is summing up how should we talk about the importance of transport from the geographical perspective. Okay, so first what I did was I gave you the list of the facts. Okay, what are the facts? What are the name of the programs? What are those details about length and the prospects? Know the facts. Then, irrespective of what type of transport they ask you, substantiate the facts by discussing the significance in terms of the geographical language. So I'm talking about regional planning and the 7 principles of regional planning. Grassroots development, talk about complementarity, backward area development, growth centers developed with the transport hubs. Talk about planned transport development to minimize urban sprawl. In transport development can also encourage development of conurbations and take examples from the dedicated freight corridors and the industrial corridors. Okay, functional linkages and interdependence of regions as a part of the horizontal unity. Okay, talk about the strategic security concerns and the border areas. In fact, this could also go towards developing, okay, the international highways. If we can discuss international highways, I think you know about India, Myanmar, Thailand. Okay, as a part of your Look East policy. We're talking about the Ganga Mekong plan. Okay, plus we also are talking about. Okay, if I'm going towards this aspect, you can talk about Chabahar port, connectivity with Iran and Central Asia. You also are talking about Indo-Africa, okay, program, again aided by Japanese development. Because the best thing about geography is these programs do not have to be written in detail. Your answer must mention them and you move on. So this page can be like the summary of any discussion on transport and what can be done. And finally, okay, you could afford to know a bit about what are the challenges. Challenges primarily is of 3-4 types. One challenge is land acquisition. One challenge is the ecological aspect, the investment aspects and the technology. Okay, the terrain aspects in the case of hills. These are more or less the main challenges as a part of the development of transport. And in recent times, economy, viability. So revise all of this. You have quite a bit of reading to do today for transport. Fine. So thank you for joining in.